सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So we'll be starting a new text today, which is Shruti Sara Samudharanam. I am actually following the Sringeri site reading of this text. This is the URL for that. Maybe I can share it with you also later. So this text is supposed to have been written by Totakacharya, and Totakacharya is one of the four principal disciples of Adi Shankaracharya. The others are Sureshwaracharya is very popular, very well known. He is also known as the Vartikakara, because Sureshwaracharya has written the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Vartika, which is huge, and Taittiriya Upanishad Vartika also. Then independently, he is supposed to have written Naishkarmya Siddhi, and also a Vartika on Dakshinamurti Stotram called Manasollasa, but that authorship is somewhat disputed, you can say. But these are traditionally, we consider all these as authored by Sureshwara. Then Padmapadacharya, very famous because he is supposed to have written an entire commentary on Brahmasutra Bhashya of Adi Shankara. But for whatever reason, only the whatever the book is now called Panchapadika. So Panchapadika may suggest that first 5 padas of the Brahma Sutra, the commentary is available, but even that is not available today. Or some people give a different name for different meaning for the Panchapadika itself. But what is available now is his commentary on the Brahma Sutra Bhashya of the first 4 sutras. Chatusutri alone is available, called Panchapadika. And there are some other works also attributed to Padmapadacharya. But Panchapadika is the most important. In fact, that Panchapadika itself has been commented upon, and that commentary is called Vivarana. Vivarana was again commented upon. Like that, it's a pyramid. Okay, the Brahma Sutra itself is only like 4 small Vakyas, correct? That you cannot even call it a Vakya, in fact. It is a sutra, basically. Janmadhyasya, all this. Athato Brahma Jijnasa, Janmadhyasya Yataha, Shastra Yonitvat, Tattu Samanvayas. That's all. But then the literature on that is a huge pyramid. Okay, so commentary on commentary, some commentaries are in verse form. Then again, the commentaries in verse form have commentaries on prose form. Like that, it keeps going. So you can read your entire life, or even another life if you have. You won't be able to finish everything. So Padmapadacharya is very important because the sampradaya which we are following also, or even my own Guruji, Swami Dayanandji, used to say that we are all following the Vivarana Sampradaya. You know, even when we talk about the Vedanta itself, largely there are supposed to be 2 different ways of looking at the teaching. Of course, everybody is an Advaitin, Vedantin, and there is no difference in the understanding of the final truth about oneself. But Bhinna Ruchihi, Lokanam Bhinna Ruchihi, we say, correct? Different people have different tastes, or what they consider as making sense. Okay, certain things some people are not able to accept, and they give a different formulation or a different way of looking at or assimilating the teaching. So there are differences in the way certain things are looked at, but those are all actually in the realm of Adhyaropa. We have to understand that. Okay, because when we teach Vedanta, the primary methodology which we follow is called Adhyaropa Apavada. Adhyaropa Apavada is the methodology followed to teach Vedanta. What do we mean by that? Adhyaropa means deliberate superimposition. For the purpose of teaching, we superimpose or we talk about certain concepts so that we can account for everything which you are experiencing. Understand? Because any Siddhanta, any Darshana for that matter, because traditionally in our Indian knowledge systems, we have something called a Darshana. Darshana means literally seeing, correct? Or your vision or your idea about what is there out there and what is there in there also. So every darshana has to talk about the observed world, the objective world. Then the subject also has to be talked about. The subjective world is there because the subject is the one who is cognizing the objects. Then, okay, subject and object are there, fine. It is in our experience, everybody's experience. Then is there a cause for the subject and the object? That's a question, correct? Is there a cause? No, that also has to be explored. In fact, some people say that logically I can establish that the world is a creation. Therefore, there has to be a creator, there has to be a cause. Okay. In fact, that itself is questionable. Understand that. You cannot logically establish the world is a creation, really. In fact, most modern scientists do not accept that. They say, in fact, they have their own ideas. But even traditionally, there are people who say world was always like this. Or whatever we are observing about the world is like this only. Why do you even need a creator then? If the world is as it is not a creation. Understand that. You can call it some kind of a steady state theory or whatever. So we cannot logically establish the world is a creation, but we can give supporting logic, because there is so much intelligence in the world that has to presuppose, if at all there is a cause, the cause has to be an intelligent cause at least. Whether there is only one cause or there are many causes also, we cannot logically clinch it. We cannot arrive at it. Understand that also. So in all these things, we have to then fall back upon a means of knowledge, which is going to reveal to us these things, because these things we cannot simply arrive at by only perception and inference. Perception and inference can only go so far. Understand that. And that means of knowledge is the Veda for us. Veda we look upon as the means of knowledge. Why do I even talk about the Veda here? Shruti. The text here is starting with the word Shruti, correct? What is the meaning of Shruti? Shruti means that which is heard. And why we call it that which is heard? The Veda has come down to us in an oral tradition. Even today, it is an oral tradition. Understand that. Although in the last couple of centuries or more, people have printed it and people have recorded it nowadays for posterity. Even the chanting and all that, they have recorded and kept it. So that because the idea is that so many shakhas, so many branches of the Vedas have been lost, literally. Understand that. There were supposed to be 1,000 branches of Samaveda itself. Today, only 3 are there, out of which one is almost like all these birds and all they give, correct list. Highly endangered and all that they will put. If you are a bird watcher, and nowadays, in fact, there are nice apps and all that. Okay, so if you take a photo or even if you are able to record the sound, you can actually identify with the app what bird it is. And in fact, they want you to report it also, where you found it and all that, so that researchers, they can benefit from all that, correct? But if you report a very endangered species and tell where it is found, they won't actually show it to anybody else. You can report it, but they will cross check with you, and then even if it is true, they will not show it to anybody because they don't want people to come there, or even some poachers to come and all that. Anyway, like that, the one Samaveda is called Jaiminiya Samaveda. It is there only in the district where I am right now living in Tirunelveli, around this, and in Kerala only it was supposed to be there. Even today, only few people are actually learning that. Some of them are learning it as the second Veda and things like that, so that it is still preserved. Otherwise, the Samveda has only two main branches left now. One is called Kautama Shakha. Okay, that Kautama Shakha is prevalent in the south or even in the north, but it is there. Then there is a Ranayaniya Shakha, which is more prevalent in like Maharashtra and North Karnataka and areas like that. That means basically we have lost around 997 Shakas today. Similarly, the Rig Veda itself had, I think, 100 or more Shakas. And I don't know how many are left. In fact, recently somebody revived one Shaka of the Rig Veda. They found it, some couple of people were having it in Gujarat with some even like the old Sutra literature and all that. And it has been revived by some people, and they are now teaching it to more people. And the Yajurveda again is having Shukla Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda, like that. There is a division there. And there also only a few shakhas are there in each of that. Krishna Yajurveda, Taitriya Shakha is there. Then there is a Maitrayani Shakha. In fact, my own Guruji, he started the Maitrayani Krishna Yajurveda Shakha Pathashala in Manjakudi. I don't know how it is doing now, but even in Yajurveda, only few shakhas are there. They are there. Okay. And Atharva Veda is almost, as an entire Veda itself, very, very few people can say that it is their Swashakha, it is their own Shakha. Atharva Veda, again, only it is living in recordings and all that, or some people have learnt it as another Veda. Once they learn their own Swashakha, their own whatever is there. Swashakha means if you are born in a certain family, then you are belonging to that Veda. Then you have to first learn that. Then only you can learn the other Veda. Like that, people have learned now and they are trying to preserve. So this Vedic corpus of knowledge is there, but it has survived also only because it is an oral tradition, understand? Because India underwent a lot of invasions, and invaders had scant respect for this knowledge, or they in fact detested it, you can say, correct? They said you are all idolaters and it has to be burnt. They kept burning libraries. Nalanda in India burnt for weeks, it seems. They killed everybody also, whoever was there. But some people ran away. And if it had been only a written tradition, if they had burnt all the libraries and all that, we would have lost everything. But ours is an oral tradition. People ran away. They again went and settled in some other kingdom. They again taught it to people. That's how it has survived today. So the Shruti is what is heard, and it is propagated in that manner. In fact, in Tamil, it is called Ezhuda Kilavi, that which should not be written. Like that, there was actually you can say, a rule. And that's why the Veda was not written down for or printed. Even initially, when it was printed, there was some opposition from the traditionalists. Okay, so you are supposed to learn it orally. And so the oral tradition also created unique kind of literature in India, correct? The Sutra literature makes sense only as an oral tradition. Because when you write a sutra, it has to be alpaksharam, we say. It has to have minimum, not even words, it has to have minimum syllables, because akshara is a syllable, you can say, or an alphabet. So and each sutra may not be even a proper grammatical sentence according to your normal language. And there is a concept of anuvritti and all that. You have to supply words, and that you will know only when you are learning it from the Guru Parampara, correct? The Sampradaya. What is the anuvritti? Which words are coming down? And you have to supply to make the sutra meaningful. So the sutra literature is very useful because it is easily memorizable. You memorize the sutras and then read all the commentaries and all that, and you can again roll it up, correct? In your mind, you just remember the sutra, then you will remember all the commentaries, who said what, etc. also will come to you. So the sutra literature again points to the fact that we are an oral tradition, and it has come down like that. In fact, nowadays we don't have that Medha Shakti. I always see traditional Pandits, they all remember like so many things, and many of them can just read something once or twice and then they just remember it forever. That is the kind of capability they have. It's amazing. In fact, myself and all, we started very late. I started studying Vedanta in the 20s. By that time, I had already finished all my studies, and whatever little bit I remember, we didn't really focus on memorizing and all that, okay, when we studied. Although, in fact, Indians are better at rote learning. We do memorize a lot of things compared to other countries. But still, it is nowhere near the capabilities which the Panditas have even today. So they all remember so many things. If you go to any Vidvat Sadas, they will not be having any books and all that. Everything, all references from the memory. So they remember. Some people remember the entire Ramayana and all that, like that, different Puranas, Dharma Shastra. So it's amazing how much is possible. We think that it may be impossible, but these people are there, and it's amazing. That's how this whole oral tradition has survived. See, another meaning for the Shruti is that even the original rishis to whom we ascribe a particular mantra, correct? Whenever we chant any Veda mantra, we are supposed to remember the rishi, the chandas, and the devata on whom that mantra is. That is called nyasa. We always do nyasa and then only we chant. Even the regular japa, any japa which you may have been given, any mantra, diksha you would have received, your guru would have taught you, before you start the mantra japa, you have to do nyasa. You have to remember the rishi, the chandas, the meter, and the devata on whom that mantra is. So the rishis, then, are they the authors of the Veda? That is another thing we have to look into. Means rishis are not looked upon as authors. They are only mantra drashtaraha. They are the seers. So the word seer also is very unique to Indian tradition, I think. Many times people are called as seers, seer of this matham and all that, correct? The seer word is not there I don't think it is there in West or in other traditions. Okay. The word seer is a literal translation of rishi. Rishati janati iti rishihi. The one who knows, one who has seen the mantra. He is a mantra drashta. Means he also, or some people nowadays say that they were in deep meditation and they heard it and all that. We can take it like that also. Whether they were in deep meditation or not, they heard it. That is the most important thing. So they themselves heard it. They are not authors. In fact, the traditional understanding is even Ishvara is not the author of the Veda. Understand that. The traditional thing is Veda is also Nitya, but it is a Pravaha Nitya, we say. It is flowing. That means during the manifest creation itself is a manifestation for us. That is also something we have to understand. When the whole differentiated world is manifest, the Veda also is manifest. In fact, it is said that Ishvara manifests this whole differentiated world by first remembering the Veda only. Okay. And then the Srishti is done, and the Veda is there, and then it goes and becomes unmanifest. or it is there in potential form. So Ishvara is a creator of the Veda only in the sense that he is the one who manifests it in every cycle of creation. That is our understanding traditionally. So Veda is also Nitya in that manner, but it is also created or manifested in every cycle of creation by Ishvara. That's why Ishvara is called Shastra Yonihi in the Brahma Sutra also. One who is the source of all the Shastra or the Veda. And because Ishvara is the source of all the Shastra, he also should be the source or cause of everything else also. That is the implication of that particular sutra. So this Veda itself is heard, not authored by anybody. Means that is why it is called Apaurusheya also. The one technical word is used when we understand what is the Veda. Veda is understood as Apaurusheya, means it is not from the intellect of any one person. Means it is not authored by anybody. That is an important thing to understand. That's why it is also considered as a valid means of knowledge. Its revelation is valid in itself. Okay, it need not be validated by anybody. The modern day confusion is that if you say Veda says that there is Swarga, and Veda says that Swarga Kamo Jyotishtome Ejeta. If you want to go to Swarga, you do Jyotishtoma, a particular Vaidika ritual. Means they'll ask, what is the proof? What is the proof that Swarga is there? Means we have to ask them, are you seeing me? Are you seeing this tilaka? What is the color of that? If you say it is red, correct? Then I'll have to ask you, what is the proof that it is red? Can you prove that it is red? You'll say, no, it is, I am seeing it with my own eyes. That is fine. But can you prove your eyes are seeing correctly? How can you prove whatever color seen by your eyes are that color only? In fact, people are colorblind. Somebody can come and say it is green. But leaving aside those who are colorblind, majority are saying it is red. But what is the proof that it is red? Means nobody can give any proof. Understand that. People are very ready to believe their sense organs. Whatever the sense organs are revealing to them, also you are believing, correct, at a fundamental level. Because whatever is revealed by the eyes cannot be proved or disproved by any other means of knowledge. Understand that. Your ears cannot come and say, no, it is not red, it is green, because ear has no access to color. Or whatever sounds you are hearing now, that only ear has to reveal to you, correct? What is the proof that you are, whatever you are hearing is the, whatever I am saying? There itself, there is a problem. So whatever the ear hears and reports to you cannot be proved by your eyes, because eyes have no access to sound. Ears have no access to color. In fact, each sense organ is revealing to you a unique field of knowledge, which is not accessible by any other sense organ, correct? So each sense organ reveals to you a unique field of knowledge, which we have also enhanced nowadays. We have telescope, microscope, and things like that, correct? So many scopes are there. You have enhanced perception. Then based on that, we have inference also. But all of them, first, the perceptual knowledge itself is only based on accepting that whatever is revealed to you through your sense organs is self-valid. Understand that. It's a very important concept. When we approach the Shastra, you have to be clear about what is the status we give to the Shastra. Now, our understanding of knowledge is that all cognition is self-valid. You don't need another cognition to validate one cognition. Why it is the most important thing to understand? It may seem very simple when I explain to you, but it has very big implications. Because if one cognition requires another cognition for you to validate it, then what about the second cognition? Means what? Then do you require a third cognition to validate the second? Means it goes into an infinite regress, correct? So if cognition cannot be clinched as self-valid, there cannot be any transaction in the world. Understand that. All transactions in the world are based on the self-validity of your sense perception, at least to start with, correct? Even if you are a total idiot, you cannot do any inference. But that's not true. Even animals can do inference, okay? So both animals and human beings, we are capable of sense perception and doing some basic inference. But all of that is based on the self-validity of your cognition. If all cognition is not self, of course, that doesn't mean all cognition is always correct. There are erroneous cognitions also. But erroneous cognitions require another more powerful cognition to invalidate them. Is that clear? Because first you see, let us say water. Aha, I'm so thirsty. It is summer here now. Already we have summer. Our temperature is around getting near 100 degree Fahrenheit and all that. So you go for it. But when you go near what, you find no water is there. It is only some barren land. That's because it is mirage. Water is there. So when you initially saw the mirage water, you took it as valid cognition. At that time, it is still valid for you. But then a more powerful cognition, once you went near, that cognition is more powerful than what you saw from a distance, correct? Obviously. And it got negated and it became an error. So our theory of knowledge is very simple. All cognition is self-valid until it is negated. If it is negated, for negation purpose, you require another cognition. So only error requires validation or negation, or invalidation or negation, I have to say, correct? Error requires an invalidation or negation by another cognition. Knowledge does not require that. Knowledge is self-valid, and in fact, if it is not negated, it is knowledge only for us always. And that is how we approach everything. So now what is the significance of this? Once we say Shruti, Veda is a means of knowledge, then don't come and ask me for proof. Is that clear? It's an invalid question. That means you have not understood what a means of knowledge is. Because once we give the status of a pramana, a means of knowledge to the Veda, it cannot be validated by any other means of knowledge. That is by definition, in fact. Because every means of knowledge has to reveal to me something unique. If Veda is revealing whatever you can validate through perception and inference, why do I even require Veda? It's meaningless, correct? That also we have to understand. Why I am telling all these things is the most common misconception nowadays I see is everybody says Veda is scientific. That is again a very a statement born out of no understanding of what Veda is really. Because science is nothing but enhanced perception and whatever inference, correct? Science is, they are very particular about it. Scientists say that we are objective. We have to measure everything. And measurement again is all based on some enhanced perception and sophisticated inference, you can say. We have to give it to the scientists about that. We have no quarrel on that. But science's realm is only within Pratyaksha and Anumana. Understand that. But the Veda, by definition, in fact, you read the Veda Bhashya. The Veda Bhashya Bhumika itself, what does it say? Sayana Bhashya, in the introduction, Sayanacharya says, Pratyakshena anumityava yastupayona buddhyate. Yenam vidanti vedena tasmad vedasya vedata. The Veda, why do we call it Veda, or what is the Vedata? Means why Veda is Veda? Why Veda is a valid means of knowledge? Because it is revealing to you something which is not available through Pratyaksha and Anumana. Pratyakshena anumityava yastupayo. So you don't have a way of knowing something through Pratyaksha or Anumana. And those things only the Veda is revealing to you. And that is why it is really a means of knowledge or a Veda for us. Understand that. So I don't want the Veda to come and restate whatever I can know through any other means of knowledge. That way it is useless, in fact. In fact, Veda, if it is scientific, it is useless, really. I would rather go and study science, correct? Why should I study the Veda? So Veda is revealing to me things which I cannot know through other means of knowledge. And in that, the most important thing which it is revealing to me is about myself. Of course, it is talking about so many other things like Swarga and all that, which is all paroksha in one way, correct? Swarga can neither be proved nor be disproved. And if you consider Veda as a means of knowledge, we accept, okay, Veda is revealed to me, Swarga is there, and it even says if you do this, you will go to Swarga, and that too not now. After the death of this body, you will go there. That means Veda is also revealing to me many other things, correct? That I survive the death of the physical body, also only Veda has to reveal to me. That no science will reveal that, or even amongst scientists only there are many opinions, correct? Or amongst other darshanas also, there are many opinions are there about the Deha Vyatirikta Atma. In fact, Bhashyakara talks about this in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad introduction only. Veda only has to reveal certain facts first. That there is an Atma, a self, which survives the death of the body. Okay. Then what? Now, that is not enough. Understand that, because if Veda is saying there is Swarga and you will go to Swarga, but in Swarga you are not having this body, you will have to have a Deva Sharira or some other Sharira, correct? That means you will survive the death of this physical body. Not only that, you will then take another body. Dehantara Sambandhi Atma, it is called. That means what? The self is getting connected to some other body. And through that, again, you will enjoy whatever is there in Swarga, let us say, assuming it is enjoyable. Okay, that also we don't know. But Veda is presenting that Swarga is a very enjoyable place. In fact, you don't even have to consume something to enjoy in Swarga. Paroksha Priyaha Devaha. Devas can enjoy things without consuming them. Like even we enjoy the text. So we can also understand, right? Textbook we study, but we don't have to consume it, correct? Still we enjoy. Knowledge is like that. See, that is the greatness of knowledge. When you enjoy knowledge, you don't have to consume something. Without consuming only, knowledge gives you pleasure. Everything else you have to consume. Food means you eat it, it's gone. And in fact, if you keep on eating also, you cannot eat. After some time, you have to say, stop, enough, enough, alam. In fact, that's why they say the best dhanam is annadana. They said in our tradition that you give food first to somebody. Why it is the best charity or dana? That is because only with food that guy has to say enough. Don't give me anymore. Okay, you can make that person say, I am satisfied enough. With everything else, you cannot do that. You give how much ever money, you say, okay, give me 100 rupees more. Okay. So they are never going to stop. But food is not like that. But knowledge also, you can keep on gaining, but at least the giver of the knowledge will not feel that I have lost my knowledge by giving it to you, correct? But it only grows that way. So knowledge is very unique that way. Anyway, coming back to this Deha Vyatirikta Atma, Deyantara Sambandhi Atma, and places like Swarga, etc. is there and all is revealed by the Veda, and we have to take it. But none of them can be proved. Even if somebody says, I went to Swarga and came back, you will start looking at that person in a weird manner, correct? So it cannot be proved. So you have to take it. But it is all indirect knowledge. But the Veda also is talking about the reality of yourself. And yourself is the most intimate, nearest, correct? It is all the time experienced by you also. But it is telling you the truth about something which you are already experiencing. And experience also is not a problem with reference to oneself. Understand that, because the whole Vedanta and the pursuit of Vedanta, another misconception is that it is presented as some kind of a experience hunting by most people. Understand that experience itself is not a problem. Nobody can deny I am experiencing myself, correct? You are the most intimate, as I told you, you are all the time there. The problem is not one of experience or anything. The problem is, in fact, erroneously one has taken oneself. So the problem is one of error, wrong notions, ignorance, in fact, we have to say, because there is a covering. Once there is a covering, there is projection also. Projection can be n number of projections. Once you have covered the reality, the projection can be any way, any which way. There are so many different possibilities there, infinite possibilities, in fact. So we have to understand our reality. So knowledge is the main thing for us. And Veda is the one which is going to give that knowledge to me. And that is why the text itself is meaningful, correct? Shruti Sara Samudharanam means what? Samudharanam means you are extracting. What are you extracting? Or what the author is extracting, in fact, we have to understand. Author is extracting something and giving it to us on a platter. Why we have to say that? Because Veda itself is so huge. As I told you, in fact, there is even a story in the Taittiriya Aranyaka between Indra and Bharadwaja, I think. So Bharadwaja took a boon, and first he had one life. He said, I want to learn the Veda. With that boon, he studied the Veda for the whole life, still he could not finish. So he got another life. Another life also, he studied the entire corpus of the Vedic literature, still he couldn't complete. Then third time also he tried, he could not. So then it was said that you cannot study everything and complete it. It is so huge. So where do we stop? Means, in fact, there, in fact, is in the context of some ritual. Then he is asked to do some particular ritual and all that, which is supposed to give all the benefits, etc. But we have to take that, we have to come and stop in Vedanta only, because our pursuit in life itself is a never-ending pursuit. It's a life of becoming. What a normal person is going through in this world is what we call samsara. Samyak sarati iti samsara. Means you are traveling very well from one place to another, or being one person to becoming another person. Because all our life we want to become somebody which we are not already. Okay. Because you are not satisfied with who you are as you are, and you want to become somebody, hoping that by becoming that I will be again I'll become acceptable to myself. Because as you are not acceptable to yourself, and you hope to become something, and in the process become acceptable to yourself. That becoming never comes to an end, because after you have become something also, you are only something. Understand that you are not everything. And so you are still a limited person, you are not acceptable to yourself. So our fundamental problem is one of self non-acceptance, and that self non-acceptance can never go away till you look upon yourself as a wanting person. Because the fundamental problem of every human being is that in my own vision, I am a wanting person. I want so many things. I am wanting with reference to even this life. If you take what all I can do, if you take knowledge, I am wanting, because I have so much ignorance. The more I know, the more I know what I do not know also. It keeps on increasing, in fact. If you take enjoyment, means I can only enjoy so much. I can be in one place and enjoy one thing. Even that I will not enjoy if you keep on giving me something like food. I told you, first ice cream I enjoy, 10th ice cream I cannot enjoy. In fact, I'll have stomach pain. So I have a limitation, I have wants with reference to whichever way I look at myself. And this can never go away by any finite achievement in this world. Understand that. How much ever finite things you add, it is still finite only. So then the only solution, what is the solution? Means you have to become limitless, infinite. But I cannot become infinite. Understand that. There is no becoming. Nasti akritaha kritena, Veda says. That which is never created, how are you going to create it? Because infinite, if you say limitless, you say it should already be there, correct? Unless if it is already there, it cannot be limitless. Something which is starting in time and in space can never be limitless. Limitless has to be there now. It should have been there before. It should always be there. In fact, it should be free from time itself. Then only it is really limitless. Similarly, in space also, limitless has to be there here and now. Here, it has to be there wherever you go. In fact, even if you go to Swarga, it has to be there. In fact, it has to transcend space-time. And in fact, whatever is limitless in that space-time is there. It's not the other way around. Understand? Limitless cannot be in space-time, but space-time is in limitless. That is the limitless we have to understand. If limitless is there really, then it cannot be different from you also. It cannot leave you out, at least to start with, correct? It has to include you. So to understand this limitless, I don't have to go anywhere. In fact, I don't have to do anything also, really speaking. It's not that only if you do Shirasasana, you can understand the limitless or anything like that. Sitting like this only you can understand. So it's a question of knowing that, because if we say that there is a limitless, then it is there. It is here and now. It is available. In fact, it cannot be different from you, in fact. But then you can protest. But I don't know that. I'm also saying that only. You don't know that, then try to know. So the whole pursuit is one of knowledge. Because by knowing myself as the limitless alone, I can get rid of this wrong notion that I am a wanting being. And once you do not look upon yourself as a wanting being, then that is the end of all your becoming, life of becoming. Understand that. And that is achievable right now, right here and now. It's not that you have to go somewhere. Even in our tradition, we also talk about a krama mukti. You can go to Brahmaloka also. You can do a lot of upasana, karma. But my Guruji used to say, even if you go to Brahmaloka, Brahmaji will teach you the same thing, whatever I am teaching you right now. So why are you making all this effort to go there and all that? You can learn the same truth right here and right now. So that is what our Totakacharya is extracting this teaching, because Shruti by itself is a huge corpus of knowledge. It has what we call the Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda is all about sadhana sadhya, means and ends. In fact, 95% or 99% of the Veda is that only. The end portion is called Vedanta. The end portion of the Veda only talks about your reality. The other portion assumes, or it goes along with your wrong notion. In fact, it goes along with your assumption about yourself, that you are a karta bhokta and you are a wanting person, and it gives you so many means to achieve all your whatever you want. To get that, it is giving you different means, sadhana and sadhya. But finally, it is showing you something which is siddha. Siddha means what? Whatever is a fact, whatever is already accomplished. So normally what we think, we want to accomplish something which is unaccomplished. Correct? Accomplishing the unaccomplished, you can do only through karma. It is a karma phala. I am sitting in Tirunelveli, I want to go to Chennai, means I have to do karma, because I have to reach somewhere. Or I have atta, but I want to make roti. I have to create roti from atta. Or I have a vessel which is dirty. Before using it, I have to clean it up. Correct? So you can create, you can purify, you can reach somewhere, or you can modify. I have milk, but I want ghee. First you make curd, then you do some processing. So all these things are possible through karma. So 4 different things are possible. Either you can create newly, either you can modify something, transform something basically, or you reach somewhere, or you purify something, correct? These are all achievable through action, through karma. But none of this will give you the limitless. Because limitless is not a result of any action. It has to be already there. But Veda goes along with your assumption and gives you means and ends. Some ends are known ends. Some ends are unknown. Like Swarga, the end itself is unknown. Veda only reveals to you there is a Swarga. Then it creates a ruchi in you because it gives you nice definition of Swarga. In fact, every theology talks about heaven, correct? According to their own understanding, and they try to send you there. So it's all, my Guruji used to say, it's all tourism promotion, correct? It's all nice tourism promotion because they give you nice idea about what is heaven. Some people say that in heaven you enjoy, and they have some lurid descriptions of all that. I don't want to go into that. But anyway, what if you are not interested in all that? I don't know. Theologies have no way. Then they'll say they'll condemn you. They'll say you'll eternally burn in hell. That's all they can do. Correct? You say I'm not interested in whatever you are giving or whatever is it that you are asking me to believe in. They'll condemn you. But our tradition is best. It says no, come now. You are now ready for Vedanta. You are not interested in any of these means and ends. Very good, fine. You are a mature person now. Please come. I'll teach you about your reality. That is Vedanta, in fact. So once you have analyzed all your accomplishments and come to a certain conclusion that in spite of whatever I have accomplished, it's all, I'm still the same person fundamentally, the same wanting person. And you have seen the limitations of your own accomplishments. Then you have a certain vairagya, that's what we say, dispassion. Nirveda maya, pariksha lokan karma chitan nasti akritaha kritena. Brahmanaha nirveda mayat, like that the Upanishad says. So you have gained a certain dispassion. Then you are ready. Then you go approach the Guru and ask the Guru to teach. Guru will teach you. Guru has nothing else to do anyway, correct? So you have to learn. And that is the whole idea here. And Totakacharya is giving you it on a platter. The knowledge about yourself, he has extracted and he is giving it to you in a platter. And that's what we have to enjoy. In fact, the whole pursuit should be enjoyable. In fact, Vedanta is not, don't think that is some sadhana and all that you are doing tapas and all, that is fine. Certain disciplined life is required. But Vedanta also, you have to enjoy the entire Vedantic pursuit, correct? Otherwise, it will not last, I think. It cannot be something which you are always doing it with so much effort that you become tired. Vedanta should not be like that. It should be effortless, in fact. The Vedantic study itself should be enjoyable. And once you start understanding the teaching also, it becomes more enjoyable. Later on, you can also teach. Teaching also is very enjoyable. Everything should be enjoyable with reference to this pursuit, in fact, I think. Then, in fact, it's working for you. You are clear about what you are doing. So this pursuit is like that, in fact. It should be a very enjoyable pursuit. Even attending Vedanta classes should be enjoyable, hopefully. In fact, my Guruji used to say so many jokes and all that, so we all used to enjoy really. All our classes, a lot of laughter used to be there. But I am not very good at all that. But still, the subject matter itself is always presenting to you. In fact, it is telling you are the limitless, you are the cause of the entire Srishti, you are wonderful, you are divine, whatever you can add. All the words are there, correct? So it is actually at least telling you that you are wonderful as you are. And that should be nice to hear, I hope. So this should be an enjoyable pursuit. and we will actually start the text from next class, hopefully. And let us continue this and enjoy the classes. So that is my wish and prayer also. So we will continue next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.